This will be a bit of a shorter video, I'm sure. Over the last few weeks during our holidays and stuff, I've just been picking away at the bus, little things that aren't really worth showing the whole procedure, you know, pulling out electrical, taping electrical up, but I can show the end result. So in this video, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show some of the stuff we've been doing over the course of the last month or so, and then hopefully I'll have a spray foam video coming up right away. Christina is putting the packing tape along the furring strips. We've seen multiple people do this. After you spray foam, you don't have to worry about any spatter getting over the furring strips. You just come along and you just peel this tape off and it takes all the spatter with it. I think the first person that did that was a genius. Now we're a genius for following it. I've begun the electrical. I've hooked up the two ceiling fans. Hung a piece of PVC pipe in here, which will get tied in before we spray foam. Run the wiring up to the rear fan. I tied them both into the same ground. I think I'm going to pick up some heavier ground wire, and use it multiple into one ground. But then I've run all the way down to the front one. And where I go through, because I didn't have any grommets, I'm using split loom. I would rather use a piece of split loom because I can protect it a little bit farther. I just like the way it works. And then I'm using foil tape to hold it up here. And any additional wires that come down here now are going to get zip tied to that. And if I need additional foil tape, I will do that. But I've already tested the fans. Hooked them up direct to the battery. Got a battery down here that I borrowed from my dad. We just hooked it up direct, not fused, so I didn't leave it on for very long, but they work. So I'm back here today running more power, and I've run all along in here. I've run power up to the front for the future light bar, which will be switched at the console by the driver. All the light bars will be switched there. And then I just finished now, just run this for the entrance lights, the dome lights. We have two puck lights that are going above the driver's area, which will be switched all the way around and down. And there'll be a cabinet down here, which I'll just put a switch on the outside of. And flip the switch and on come the dome lights. And that will work great. Positive and ground. I'm running a heavy ground line all the way to the back on this side. And I am going to tie in all my LED lights all to the same common ground. I don't want to ground it to the bus. A lot of people do. I don't like the idea. I want them all separate from the bus itself. Just personal preference. Not wrong, not right, just my preference. I know I'm going to get the question, so I'm going to explain it now. I've put one heavy 12 gauge wire front to back. I'm going to do one on each side. This is the driver's side, and I'm using this as a common ground for all my LED lights. There'll be one at the bottom as well for all the low voltage 12 volt stuff, the lights or the USB ports, all that such. And how I'm tying into it, here's the one from, so here's my lines for my my lights in the kitchen / living room area. What I've done here, can you see? Get my finger out of the way, you'll be able to see better. There. I have cut the sheeting off with an X-Acto knife very carefully so as not to damage the wires. Just cut it off, and then the ground line from the LED lights is coming back into it. I've wrapped it and I've soldered it, and it is very tight. And now I'm just going to tape it with electrical tape. I can't really get a shrink tube on there because it's a split. There's it'll be essentially be 3. So I'm just going to use electrical tape, tape it up really good, tape this solid here, and when that gets spray foamed up in there, Bob's your uncle. So that's what I'm doing there, and that's why. So I'm done for today. I'm about 95% done the 12-volt system. Look at this rat's nest. When I'm finished, I'll come back in and zip tie them all together and make it just a little bit neater so that it's in more of a combined, like a nice condensed bundle in behind the wall. And then of course we've got the ones hanging down the middle. Get them all tied up as well. Looking good. And the bottom, same rat's nest along the bottom. Yeah, very happy to have this almost done. So my dad and I are working on eliminating all the electrical that is unnecessary. So the front flashing lights, we've pulled the lights, the power out for that. The door opener we will not be using, so the power has been taken out for that. The only thing we've left up here is for the marker light on the side, the heated mirrors, the front lights, and the fan. Everything else is pulled out. And I see a lot of people don't do this. They don't follow this step. It's time consuming and it's a mess. You have to find every single wire, you got to mark everything. But by doing this, we have less chance of something shorting out and causing us problems down the road that we're not even using. Welcome to my mess. I just got to take some stuff out so I can get working here. So what we're doing here, which I explained already, is pulling out all the unnecessary wires. No sense keeping them there and hooked up. They just become a shorting out problem because, you know, the lights have been removed, the flashing lights back and front. The door opening mechanism will not be there. None of the speakers, none of the lights are in the bus anymore. The heater is gone. Pretty much the only thing we need are the clearance lights, the brake signal and reverse lights, and the clearance lights on the front. So we can remove almost half, probably half of the wiring, which we already have probably a quarter of it taken out. And then I'm going to reroute everything like I did everything else. So it'll all come from behind the console in the driver's side, and I'll just route it along with my installed wiring. I'll put it up higher and run it all the way along there to the wall behind the shower and up. And a lot of the wiring splits off to go to front for the lights and to the back for the lights. It's on the same circuit. So I will just split them up there, run them to where they need to go. And for the clearance lights on the passenger side, I will bring them over to this wall behind where the fridge will be. And I'll just bring them down and split them off and hook them up. A very simple process, but quite a time-consuming process. I haven't been videoing a lot of the electrical work. It's just tedious. And I'm not going to explain how to do electrical work when it took years to learn that myself. There's lots of videos out there of how to do that. Rest assured I did it right because I did everything to code. I will, before I spray foam, I'll go along and show what I've done and why I've done. Just explaining where I've put power, why we have power there, where the lights are going to be, stuff like that. But I need to get started on this electrical because it's not going to remove itself.